even though we had a similar understanding of what action learning was, that there was some kind of project, problem or issue that someone was trying to deal with, and that we were going to make a plan, take some action, reflect on that, and explore more information to feed into that planning. So the old Reg Revens learning equals P plus Q, we were going to attempt that. However, we didn't actually nominate a facilitator early enough, and so we had this problem of being caught up in looking at a technology and not trying to use the technology in an authentic way. And so a lot of time was spent exploring the possibilities of Second Life. But once we did start to have some action learning meetings, then people who were at those meetings got the feel for what this place was like, and that the meetings were conducted quite successfully. So it's sometimes hard to look at a technology if you don't actually do something authentic within it. The reason we choose action learning as a methodology is usually because it bridges the gap between what people know and what they do. It involves people actually getting out there and using their learning immediately and putting it into practice so that they can get value from the experience as well as the knowledge. But behind every action learner in a virtual world is a real person. So that's me and my avatar that you're seeing. So although this is a virtual environment and all of these things around us are computer generated, they have a sense of place because every person that you meet in a virtual world has a real person sitting behind them. So it can give you a level of embodiment that's not possible in some online technologies. So here's an image of what a meeting looks like when you have a learning set meeting in a virtual world, and we'll visit some of these sites as we go on tour. Just don't mind the hummingbird, he doesn't bite. But of course, all technologies require you to get to know them, and some technologies take more getting to know than others. Sometimes it's the presenter who takes a long time to learn how to use something like an Adobe Connect Room or Illuminate, and to use it effectively and create breakout rooms often takes a bit more skill. So in a virtual world, you have to learn how to use all of the interface just as you would in any other environment, and you do have to spend a bit of time to get to know the interface if you want to actually get great value out of it. And we used an area of the island called the play deck to get to know the interface. So there's an orientation process, and there is a time overhead in doing that. So we have to think about it, as with any technology, what's the value to the group technology that you're choosing, and why would you choose one technology over another? And the thing that really strikes me about virtual worlds and what drew me to them was this sense of place that they have, that you're in another place together. You're not sitting at your computer at home like you are with a Skype call or an Illuminate or WebEx kind of session. You're actually you go there psychologically, and it's that presence, that sense of place, that gives a level of interaction in virtual worlds that's supported by the research to show that you can get high quality interaction, you can get good quality relationships, you can withdraw from the world around you where you are physically and immerse in this environment, and so you give 100% of your attention to what's going on in there. I'm going to refresh my today's Meet stream in case questions coming in. So by creating an environment that's quite realistic, people commit to the place and to their avatar as a representation of themselves. And you're able to generate the kind of environment that's very conducive to the kind of trust and relationships that are required to make effective learning sets. However, we don't want to have to get to the level of wearing propeller head hats so that we're so geeky that that gets in the way of the process. A bit jerky in getting you around, probably making a few people in the audience a bit seasick. I want to talk a little bit about the concept of being virtual totally compared to blended environments, and I think the role that virtual worlds have can be used in both cases, of where you've got some people face-to-face and you've got some people online at different times. So you can do totally virtual world-based action learning, which is what I've done in the past, or you can have people who meet face-to-face and then meet in the virtual world. And usually that makes it a much quicker process to build the relationships between the people, because you've had that face-to-face experience. But all of the action learning that I've done in Second Life, the people have never met each other face-to-face, and the research that I conducted showed that they were extremely effective. The challenges arose when people were confronted with their physical life and it clashed with their virtual life, and I'll explain a little bit more of that in just a moment. I just noticed in the tweet stream earlier some comments about a fishbowl activity, so I thought I'd show you what a fishbowl can look like in 3D. So you can conduct the same type of activity in here, but you can actually be literally in the fishbowl. Now, when we talk about getting quality action learning to happen, we need things like a place to meet, we need a space to sit around, and we can generate those kind of spaces in the virtual world. I'm going to just take you up to the IFAL office that we created in here. And this is the kind of place that you could use in a very small space. You don't have to own your own island. You could just use a public space. There's lots of places in Second Life where you can actually engage with other people without ever owning anything. You can just use public spaces that have cafes or seating, or you can generate a highly specific branded environment for your organisation, so that you can get that same kind of effect that you would get in the physical world. Are there any questions at this point? Okay, there's the opportunity to actually do both. In all of the action learning that I've done, we've had a mixture of people, some who declare who they are in real life and some who don't. And that can affect the level of trust you have. But one example of using this where you would not declare, maybe within an organisation where you want to run an action learning about an issue where actually knowing the other people may identify some kind of problem area that people don't want to actually be honest about, perhaps, unless they could be anonymous. I wouldn't necessarily recommend that as an appropriate approach to a problem, but there may be times when you would want to do that to surface some level of issue that perhaps wouldn't be surfaced otherwise.